So we want to talk a bit about DJing, the art of DJ. We invited you here because we want to get to know more about the DJ culture and also knowing how much DJing has influenced the music culture in Accra and Ghana, not even now, not just now, but decades and decades ago. We want to really delve into what DJ was, what DJ is, and what DJing can be in the future. So I think the first question, and anybody can take the mic, everybody can answer, or if you don't feel like talking, we can just move on to the next one, is the historical purpose of DJing was, I think DJ stands for disc jockey, was then to create personalities or identities for, define the identities of radio stations, to lead music, new sound, etc. And that has changed over the years. What DJs used to be in the past isn't really what it is now, especially when we used to have traditional media, radio, primarily. Now we have so many new media. What is DJing now to you? What do you know DJing to be? What do you believe DJing is in the modern time? Yeah.
Interestingly enough, my collective Zagaza, we're also studying the trajectories of Black queer DJs in the diaspora on the continent, and we asked ourselves, what was the function of DJing, depending on where you exist. And for us, the function of DJing is being able to take space in spaces where Black women, Black queer folks were historically erased. Noting that most DJ cultures were based in Black music anthologies. You think about disco, to hip hop, to basically every single music that we listen to contemporarily was created by Black people. So for us, DJing is a way to reclaim an artistry and also a form of art that is, as always, subversive, because it's not just about playing music, it's about giving people access to practices and musical cultures that we don't necessarily have access to all the time. And I think as a woman who is in a collective of Black queer folk, for us, being in club scenes really is about creating a new world and developing a political stance about clubbing, specifically because when a Black queer body, a Black woman's body is on the dance floor, it doesn't have the same impact. And so, yeah, we really just want to repoliticize the dance floor and give it its function, which is liberation, I guess, through dance, through transcendental music, but also by developing cultures that engage safety. Because for me, no space is safe. It's only relationships that are safe. So I do believe that club scenes allow for us to reflect more deeply about what it is to exist as Black bodies in spaces where our cultures are mostly sometimes and appropriated and exploited. So yeah, I hope that was clear.
I just wanted to say that I completely agree with Tanya because the way I got to DJing was through wanting to create spaces where, because we were not, people like us, queer Black folk, were not included into certain spaces, so we wanted to create new spaces that were safe, that they were safe intended spaces where we could move freely, and it was more about coming together and bringing people together with the same experiences. So for me personally, the way I got to DJing was not necessarily through disc jockeying and showing like talent that I can actually mix and do remixes on the decks. It was more playing music that people craved listening to and creating spaces through that.
There have been radio DJs, there are club DJs, there are event DJs, there are internet DJs, there are digital DJs. I wonder if you categorize as a type of DJ or if you are fluid. I'm just like curious about how you categorize yourself as a DJ.
I would say that I would categorize more myself by the type of music that I play. But otherwise, I don't see myself as any boxing DJ. Actually, I think what the beautiful thing about DJing is that you actually don't fit in certain boxes. You can kind of create your own. So that's what I like about it as well.
I would say fluid too. But if I had to pick, I realized that in terms of the kind of music or how I like to engage with sound, because like I said, I play music based on mood sometimes. I can change my set 5 minutes before I go on just based on my mood, which if you are a club DJ, you can't really do that. You've got to give the people what they want. But I really like to introduce new sounds, textures, and what I do find is when it's a space, when it's a comfortable space where people are just talking and engaging, you can do that. And I have found that I enjoy to play at more so events because it opens up the pocket of the kind of music and sounds you can play. And also how you engage with the audience. Don't get me wrong, I do like a party vibe as well, you know. It does go off, but I can find it sometimes for me personally a little bit like restricting, especially when I maybe I've delved into like this sound and I really, really want to play it, and it's very lo-fi, it's very moody, it's very textured. And I'm like, oh, I can't really play this at like 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, because people might not vibe with it. And almost that battle within yourself that, okay, are you playing for you? Are you playing for the audience? Or how do you find a middle ground that you're enjoying what you're playing as well? So, yeah, whatever a fluid DJ is, that's what I'd like to consider myself as.
What influences your selection of songs? I know that a lot of you are inspired by mood, vibe, popularity of songs, and I know that like DJs have personalities. Each and every DJ is unique in their own ways. But what if we were to cook up some kind of formula, what would be the things that influence the selection of songs for your playlists or for your mixes?
Bit to segue, growing up in Ghana, what I really enjoyed was, it doesn't matter where I was, whether I'm walking down the street, there was music everywhere, you know, and it almost like music didn't necessarily have like a time scale. Like, I think you could be walking down the street, you'd be listening, you hear someone booming Daddy Lumba, then you hear them booming Cisco, then Jim Reeves, and then some, like, it was very, for me, eclectic, yeah, very random. And I like that because the years didn't matter. Growing up, moving back to London, of course, garage, rap, delved straight into it, and enjoying that. But coming back, how I feel has kind of influenced me is I have maybe a bit of a nostalgic element to the way I play. Like, I don't see, okay, this song was in 2018, so you can't play it. I'll play it. What do you mean? I'll play it because, you know, if it's a record, it's a record. Do you know what I mean? If it's a jam, it's a jam. Like, I've been wanting to go out and hear Shakara for so long. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's a vibe. And I really feel like that's because of how I grew up in Ghana, whereas, like, music has no kind of time. Even to this day, like, I was saying this on the Sirocco show that we were on, that you can go and you can hear Cisco in 2022 in a bar, and yeah, people still vibe to it, you know, because it's like, okay, it's a track, it's a record, it's timeless. Music should be timeless, and you should be, and also new ears, you know, because there is a generation coming up that like are listening to refixes or remixes. I'm just like, oh my god, do you know this track? And I'm just like, you're telling me, do I know this track? So it's nice to be able to kind of re-engage the generation coming up with music that we've always loved, that are still, you know, influencing music today. So to answer the question, I think I like nostalgia when it comes to some of my sets, hence me being I do like playing at, whether it's, barbecues or events or intimate moments where it's like you can run a track from like 1990, you can run back some Sade, some Anita Baker, and, people are like, oh, yes, I like it, so, yeah.
So, popularity of songs really influences what DJs play. Like, I think one of the things Michi said was you have to play what the people want, right? And so I'm wondering, for songs that aren't popular, what are you looking, how do they end up on your playlist? I know it's a very wide question, but for songs, and I say this especially in Ghana where a lot of women are in the mainstream, how do we end up on your playlist? Or what, maybe to make the question a little bit easier, what are you looking out for that will land, right, yeah, you get me.
Okay, so with me, for instance, I mean, if you knew me like 10 years back, I started off as DJ Michi. It was without the mask, and I was playing any and everything and everywhere. But I just woke up one day and decided that, wearing the mask is a different conversation. But when I decided to wear the mask, I'm like, I also need to like alter like the course of the music I'm playing for the people, because I felt like there was so much music that we weren't hearing on a regular, because it's not what our gatekeepers will say is popular. So you go to the club and it's the same rotation. So when I started playing like music that wasn't popular, I was like, if you're going to introduce something to someone, you can't just force it down their throat. So you have to like mix it in such a way that, okay, so let's say if I play 2 popular songs, then maybe I do 2 songs that you do not know. Or I'm going to mix it, if it's an Afrobeat song, I'm going to mix it probably with an electronic beat, so that you have that. So, okay, it's like today you've heard it, another day you hear it. When you keep hearing it, you gradually get there. One thing I want to speak about is how this popularity thing has changed how DJs play music, because you can go to the event saying, oh, today I'm going to like break new music to the people, because that's what DJs were for anyway. But the song is dope. They even know it's dope. But because it's not a certain artist that's playing it, they're like, oh, DJ, play Afro. That it pisses me off. Play Afro, DJ, we want to dance. Meanwhile, the song you are playing, they can dance. You want to dance, like, who's holding you? Dance. Like, so I don't know why we do that as a people, because I know personally people have like different libraries of music they listen to. But once they step to the motive, it has to be the same 5 or 6 names. And it gets boring for us, because if you have like 5 DJs, we are all going to play Wizkid. We all play Sarkodie. But meanwhile, like, I remember the first time I dropped Sad Girls Love Money, and it was the event, it had like a lot of women there, and I could see that the reaction was different. If I dropped Sad Girls Love Money in a different situation, everyone would be looking at me like, okay, but this is an anthem, it's for the ladies, it's for the baddies. So immediately you drop it, and shout outs to the girls branch. You guys should come for the next one. I know you were there. It's a branch for women, DJed by women. Ghana Boy was on the last one as well. And we try to have fun just for us and not for any other person. And I feel like I've seen women feel more liberated in that event than other events, because they know that we are here to have fun. We are not here coming to form for it. So yeah, the people we are playing for, I feel like we need to open our palette, like be open to anything. Music is music. If it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter who is singing it, So yeah, that's one of my problems right now, but we'll probably get around it in future. So.
Genre DJing is a thing. EDM is one of the genres that was single-handedly promoted by DJs. Ghana, do we have a genre that can be or is being? Oh, Ghana. Amapiano is not Ghana. Amapiano, like I won't. So this next question, I'm phrasing it really well here. There is an influx of, and for lack of a better word, let's use, or for lack of for a compassing word, let's use diaspora. There's an influx of diaspora DJs, or DJs who, for instance, maybe were raised in Ghana, left when they were 13 or 12, lived outside Ghana for a while, or people who are not from Ghana, etc., are now based here or are based in Ghana slash outside. Now, it goes two ways, whichever way you identify. If you are a DJ who has multiple identities, how has working here as a DJ been? And for the local DJs, how has it been for you as well? Do you feel like the DJs who are coming to join the local scene are crafting a narrative of our music landscape that is not inclusive of the local? Do you feel like we have this thing in general, like where even on social media, you go right now and just find the right keywords. You see people, oh, these diaspora, they think they know everything. They will come here and they will do their thing and they will leave the local behind as if we don't know what is here. Do you feel that there is that? Is there an alienation? Is there a lack of collaboration? Is there even space for collaboration?
Okay, so I'll answer your last question first. In terms of collaboration, I think there very much is. I'm going to choose my words very carefully. Yeah. So for me, I don't consider myself a diasporan. I left in my late teens, but I grew up here. You get what I mean? And then I adulted elsewhere, and then I've come back. And so the diasporans who left younger ages, who have been based there, who are still based there, and who have that yearn to come back home, as we know, a lot of diasporans have felt that after the year of return, and they have more of a connection with home, they're back home. I feel like they are keen to tap into the local scene and to learn and to kind of work together because they like the aesthetic of it and the feeling of it. It's like a come back home thing. Link up with my people, like this is what we can bring to the table, and you guys are the locals, you know what's popping. Yeah, so I feel like it's a mutually beneficial kind of dynamic. However, what I think has happened in the landscape is that because there has been such an influx of diasporans and the entertainers and the artists here who do not necessarily have that accessibility into that space or into that community, they don't benefit. What's happening is, what I see happening is they are kind of being like pushed if they don't fit a certain status, category, look, especially look. And that's where I feel like it's a very delicate situation now. So there's the pros and then there's the cons. And for me personally, what I've kind of had to deal with, and like it's a bit confusing in my head, I've had to compartmentalize that because I went to both international school and public school. So that dichotomy is very clear to me of okay, this is where I'm playing today, and this is the crowd it is, and so this is the kind of music I know to play, because I fit in both, right? And then when I'm in another place, I'm like, yo, these are the people, and this is what they want to hear. And so, like, if you're a diasporan entertainer or artist, you're going to find yourself in a specific spot